video, I figured I would film something a little bit different. I wanted to talk to you about hypothyroidism, which is something I have. I've had it since I was around 21. So it's been about 7 years. So let's just go ahead and get started. So I found out that I had a thyroid issue in like December of 2011, 2012. I found out because at the time, so throughout high school, like really tiny. I remember I could never donate blood. Your senior year, I think you needed to weigh more than 107 pounds to be able to donate blood, and I was never above that weight. I want to say I was like 103 my senior year, and then I was like 97 my junior year, and like 93 my sophomore year, and like 87 my freshman year. I went to college, and I know that I would say the freshman 15 you gain those pounds or whatever, but I was staying at home, so I was not really changing like my eating routine. So my first year everything pretty much stayed the same. I probably did go up to like 107. My second year in college I gained more weight, and I was about 111. But I still thought that was normal because everyone talks about how you gain weight. Not a big deal. So it was not till that summer of my sophomore year in college that I started working at a daycare, and so they would let us wear jeans, and so I was always a size 0, size 1. And so at that time, like during that summertime, which was only, I think only worked for 2 months, during that time I had to keep buying like new jeans because they weren't fitting. So I went from like 0 to a 1, which I was like, okay, this is okay. Then I went from a size 1 to a size 3, and I was like, all right. And then I went to a size 5. This was like within 3 weeks. And then I went to size 7, and then size 9, I got to size 11. Okay? So I remember that day, I told my mom, hey, like, these jeans actually feel really comfortable. I was like, because usually like my button was starting to get too tight on my waist. So I was like, can you check what size they are? So I remember I told her, like, check my tag. So she got me, she was like, these are a size 11. Because it was to the point where I wasn't really checking sizes anymore. I was just getting whatever jeans would fit. I was just trying them on and be like, oh, this is too tight. Try them on, try them on. She was like, these are a size 11. I was like, a size 11? Like, during those 2 months, I went from a size 0 to a size 11. So can you imagine, like, it was just crazy. So obviously I had like stretch marks on my side because of that, because you don't stretch from a size 0 to a size 11. Like, think about a balloon, like you just can't. So it wasn't just that, it wasn't just the weight gain, it was just my sophomore year in college, I was just very depressed, very tired. I was like sad all the time. I couldn't sleep at night. I would cry. Sometimes I would just come home and I would just cry, like, not like tear up, like crazy crying, like a baby crying. And then people would be like, what's wrong? What's going on? And just, I could not tell them because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was wrong. I was always cold. I'm gaining all this weight. I just like hate everything. At that point, I just hated everything about life. Like, I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to finish school. I needed to transfer to a university to get my bachelor's. I didn't want to do that. I was kind of like, I didn't want to do my assignments because I was like, why am I going to turn in an assignment if I'm just going to die? Like, it was just really dumb, I'm going to say it. It was really dumb because my mind was kind of tricking me into like, everything that you're doing right now is really dumb because you're gonna die. So why would you do it if you're gonna be dead? Alright, so something I really love to do was go shopping, right? So like usually like when I was having like an off day, I would go shopping, and like that would make it feel better. Like I'd be like, oh, I got this shirt, these shoes, did I need them? No, but it just automatically made me feel a little bit better. Excuse me. Well, that's when I like found out that there was something going on, because even when I was like having horrible days and somebody would be like, let's go shopping, or let's go, like I've always been like super girly, you know. I always, in high school, used to always like buy those crazy earrings and match my earrings with my outfits, and like in middle school I used to have like a ribbon for each color so I could match my shirts. Like that has always been me. Like shoelaces, you know, that was a thing. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do makeup. I didn't want to buy accessories. I didn't want to go shopping. I didn't want to do anything like that. I had no goals, no dreams, no desire for life, because like I said, my head just was like, oh, you're gonna die, so what? why would you do this? Like, no. So I remember I went to my checkup, and I think it was for my 21st birthday. And the thing is, like, so this thyroid problem, they don't really diagnose it. So a lot of people, I feel like, don't go diagnose till like later on, because it's supposed to occur in like middle-aged women. Well, I guess it can happen to both guys and girls, but they usually will test for it maybe later on, because if you have symptoms. So I remember my mom was the one that made me go, and I think she made me go because I was gaining so much weight, and it was kind of weird how in 2 months I was weighing almost 140, and I was like a size 10, 11, like my hips got huge. Like, it wasn't even like fat in my stomach, it was just like my hips were getting really, really wide, and she said it looked like I struggled to like walk. So she took me. I remember they were like, well, we're gonna do some, like, you know, blood work and let you know what's going on. And I was like, all right. My periods were irregular as well, but like they've always really been irregular, so it wasn't really a sign for me. So because I was always like crying unexpectedly, and I couldn't give them a reason why, because I was depressed, and it was like to the point where I didn't care about living anymore. They did that blood work. I remember they called me like a week later, and they were like, hey, we need you to come in. So like I went, my mom went, and so there's like a range, and they check your TSH levels. I can't remember what it stands for, thyroid something, I don't know. So they check that, and I think you're supposed to be between 1 to 4, I'm not sure. But I was at a 5, which means that if you're higher than 4, it means you have hypothyroid, and if you're lower than the 1, then you have hyperthyroid, okay? So I had hypothyroid. So she tried to explain, and I was like, well, why do I have that? Do my parents have it? And they were like, no, it's not like a genetic thing that because your mom or your dad have it, you have it. And then I was like, well, is it because I eat unhealthy? Because I always try to eat healthy. Because I feel like out of like my whole family, I eat the healthiest. But I mean, I don't know. So she was like, no, it's not that. And then she was like, we usually don't prescribe medicine until you're at a 6. But because it seems like you are at a rough point right now, we can't go ahead and like start you at a really small dose. And so I remember my mom asked me, she's like, well, it's up to you. And obviously I wanted to start it because like if that was the reason for why I was like over here struggling and trying to like just end everything, like, and there's this, it's a hormone pretty much, this hormone that I would be taking synthetically to replace my hormone, then obviously I was gonna take it, right? So what it is like you have a thyroid gland, which is supposed to be like a butterfly shape in your throat, okay? So that produces a hormone called, I guess, thyroid? No, your thyroid is your gland. I guess it's TSH, I don't know. It produces some kind of hormone. And so apparently this thyroid gland is very, very important because it controls like every system in your body. Like it, she described it as it's like the thermostat in your home, if that makes sense. So she was like, that's why you're always cold, and that's why you're gaining weight like crazy. Because it got to the point where I would just eat, and I never felt like I was full. Like my stomach just kept feeling like it was hungry, so I would keep eating. So she was like, it's gonna be harder to lose weight, and that's why you're like depressed, and that's why you have this and that. And I was like, okay. So I got started. I got started with 25 mcg. And so I've been taking it since then. It's a pill I have to take every morning, 30 minutes before breakfast, and like it's nothing bad because it's something that everybody's body already produces, but unfortunately my body doesn't produce it, so I have to go ahead and add it to my body. But anyways, let me tell you about like today's doctor's visit, okay? So the reason why I went today was because I haven't checked my thyroid level. You're supposed to go every 6 months, but the last time I checked my thyroid level was February of last year, so it's been like a year and a few months. So I went today, and the doctor I went with today is actually like that's all she does. She's an endocrinologist, I think that's okay. So I was telling her like what I was going what I had currently. I was just like, well, I haven't had, you know, a thyroid check in a while. And I was like, I'm running out of medication. I was like, I felt tired. And I was telling her that I feel really weak and nauseous at times. So she went ahead and she was gonna check my TSH, which it stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. And then she was gonna check my vitamin D, because she said that maybe that's why I'm feeling weak and I'm feeling like I get headaches constantly and like I'm nauseous, because maybe I'm low in vitamin D. And then she was gonna check my thyroid antibodies, because apparently, like, if you have hypothyroidism, there's a chance that you have Hashimoto's disease, I think that's what it's called. And so what that does is it destroys your gland even more, so it's even harder for you to get that. So there's not like anything to fix that. For hypothyroidism, you take the synthetic hormone and replace it, but with this other one, there isn't anything you can do about it. So she wanted to check just to make sure I don't have that disease, which it's not really a disease, I feel like. I mean, it's like an autoimmune disease that like destroys your thyroid gland, I believe. But I thought it was interesting. So I should get the results soon, but that's why I have this, because they had to like check my blood and make sure everything's good. But so I was in her office, right, and she had like these little things on there, like not a brochure, but it was like a little pamphlet, I guess. And it was telling you the signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism. And I was like, that explains like a lot of the things that I have. Like, it makes sense. It's all these different things, but it all has to do with the same thing. So one of them, so I'm just gonna go through the list. It says signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism: puffy face, depression, coarseness or loss of hair, hoarseness, slow heartbeat, decreased concentration, brittle nails, cholesterol abnormalities, irregular or heavy menstrual cycles, goiter, fatigue, weight gain from fluid retention, dry or yellow skin, infertility, mental impairment, constipation, reflex delay, cold intolerance, and muscular pain. Like the weight gain from fluid retention, I definitely agree with. I feel like I'm always bloated, and it's obviously because I'm retaining all the liquid that I'm getting, or all the fluid. I'm also always tired. Like, I get really tired, which sucks, because ever since I was like younger, you know, when I was 21, obviously there's people you work with that are older, and they always look at you and they're like, the good thing is you're young, but you feel so tired, and then you're like, well, I'm so tired too, and they're like, you're 21, like you can't be tired. But honestly, like, it really drains you. It really drains you. And I really do also believe like the decreased concentration, like it's so hard for me to, like in high school, it was just easy for me to just be doing something else and to still like understand what they were talking about or remember it because of like what I was doing. I'd be like, oh yeah, that was whenever so-and-so asked to go to the restroom. I remember she said that this means this. But like now, I really have to pay attention, like write stuff down. And even then I'll probably forget. I have to go back and actually read the notes, and so that's something that I feel like is true. She was also asking me if I was thinking about getting pregnant anytime soon, so I was like, I mean, I want to in the future, but at the moment I'm not thinking about having a baby. And she was like, that I just want to let you know that's something you should keep in mind for when you do start trying. You need to come with us. So I didn't know this. I mean, I always knew that it's kind of like you have infertility, you can, but I didn't know that you had to treat it before once you start trying to get pregnant. So she was telling me how the first 12 weeks of pregnancy, the baby doesn't have his own or her own thyroid gland. So obviously they need to get their needs from like their moms, right? But like if the mom obviously already doesn't have such a good thyroid gland, like it's gonna be harder for the baby to be able to get what the baby needs. So she said I had to come before so that instead of giving me the dosage that I need, they can give me a little bit more so that it's enough for me and the baby. And so she said that I'd have to, on here, like I also read it, it says If hypothyroidism has been diagnosed before pregnancy, the TSH level should be no higher than 2.5. In the first trimester, the TSH level should be less than 2.5. And in the second and third trimester, the TSH level should be less than 3. So they have to continuously monitor that to make sure the baby is getting the appropriate amount. So just something to think about if you're trying to get pregnant. But yeah, this is it. Like, I'm just waiting for my results, and hopefully they just like give me the same medication and just refill my prescription. But it's always great to get checked. I have told a few of my friends to go and get checked whenever they tell me they're like, it's hard for them to like lose weight, or they're feeling like they're going through depression. I'm like, sometimes it's not that, it's actually something else that's causing it. And so it's important to get it checked. And like I said, they don't do these kind of screenings on younger people because they think, I guess majority is for the middle-aged people, but like I said, like I got it when I was 21, so anybody can have it. I know there's like even younger kids or adults or whatever you want to call them that have it, so just something to keep in mind. And if you have any questions or want to know more about it, just go ahead and leave your questions below and I'll gladly answer them. But I hope this video was helpful and I hope you liked it. So if you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe below and give it a thumbs up. All right, I'll talk to you soon.